firstly, would I be right in thinking that all of you have at some point today charged your phones, turned on a light, and taken something out of a fridge? Well, 1.2 billion people living in extreme poverty without access to electricity are not so lucky. And they are the people that we help at Renewable World. I'm the Vice Chair, and 18 months ago I went to Kenya to visit some fishing communities that we work with in extreme poverty in the really remote parts of Kenya. And what I found that had a profound effect on me. These women told me that they have to sell fish that their husbands have caught the night before. But the tradesmen buying the fish know that they will start to rot within 4 to 5 hours in the heat. So they stand with trucks full of ice and they toy with the women as the price of their fish starts to fall with each passing minute. Eventually, when the women become desperate to sell, they agree only to buy from those who will grant them sexual favours. They told me their children are failing at school because they don't have light in the evening to study. All the men and women that I met had blood red eyes and painful lungs from using toxic kerosene to light their homes and their fishing boats. It's an expensive and harmful fuel which contributes to 1.6 million deaths every year. So, how do we make a difference? Well, Renewable World works with local partners in Africa, Asia and Central America to install small-scale renewable energy systems right in the heart of the communities. And our objective is for them to use this power to lift themselves out of poverty. It's a hand up, not a hand out. And today we're talking to you about our solar energy hubs, which are on the shores of Lake Victoria here in Kenya. This is what they look like. It may not look too impressive, but it's a bit like the TARDIS, all the magic happens on the inside. So what happens here, that's a solar panel on the roof, and it provides power to households and communities. And we actually called them energy hubs because we found they become the hub of the community. The community own the hub, and a small tariff is charged for each connection, and that goes into a community bank account which pays for ongoing maintenance. Now, this is really key, the next thing I'm going to tell you, and it's also what's unique about our approach, and it's what makes our project sustainable. We engage the communities at every step of the process. So we work with them to understand what their needs are. Is their priority water? Is it light? Is it refrigeration? We design the hub together. We train them in how to manage the technology and their finances. And we ensure that the project management groups are made up of 50% women and 35% adolescents. And that's partly for equality, but also because women are more likely to stay in the village, and adolescents tend to be better educated and have higher aspirations. So what are the benefits? Well, energy creates energy, and we find there's a huge buzz for people who already had entrepreneurial ideas, but they can now finally put them into practice, and they're quick to plan new businesses. This is Mary holding the baby. She's one example. She now charges 20 phones every day. They all have mobile phones. And that gives her enough income to send her children to school. And with light, she can also keep her shop open in the evening, attracting more customers, and her children can study safely. So other beneficiaries are doing all sorts of things like fish chilling, setting up fish farms, water purification, all sorts of other things. And incomes are not only increasing, but they are diversified. And that means that communities they can prosper in the good times, but they are also more resilient in the bad times. Power is also empowering. So if you can chill your fish, then you can take back control of the price and cease to be exploited. The idea is that we paint ourselves out of the picture, and the community can benefit from the hub. They have all the skills they need to benefit for the next 25 years. So it's a long-term solution. So far, we've helped 1,600 people through 6 hubs in this region, thanks to 3 years of funding from Comic Relief. It sounds like fairly small numbers, but actually our model is highly replicable and we actively want others to follow it. That's in our strategy. With your help today, we'd like to install another energy hub to help another 360 beneficiaries. One hub is £71,000, and we'd like you to help for part of the critical community engagement. On the face of it, our hubs are expensive, but that's because fully engaging the community takes a long time, and it's because we work in the hardest to reach places where no one else is going. And when you break it down over the 25 years, it works out at £8 per person per year, which we believe is value for money. And finally, as I was leaving this village, the lady in the middle with the purple headscarf, that's Gertrude, she pleaded with me. She said, "Sarah, please do not forget us." And I promised I wouldn't, and that I would do all I can to help. And I don't like public speaking, but I remind myself that, any one of those women would trade places with me in a heartbeat. And so, I stand here to ask you to help me keep my promise so that, they and others like them and their children have a future. Sorry.